think at first I was confused because I was like, wait, what? Especially since the past first year, second year, the typical assessment is just like writing essays and then exams for English. So at first I was like, so every week I have to say my experience or what?
Well, I found it quite weird because it's so different to anything you've ever done before on the course.
It's one of those things for me where like it was intimidating until I actually did the first week, and then once you do it, you're like, oh, like this isn't so bad, and you get the hang of it, and you actually find it quite enjoyable.
I found it really quite liberating to take an assessment method like that and make it my own, particularly because it was very much your own understanding of the module, of the particular novel, the particular conversation we had at seminars.
I think what I really liked about it in that sense was bringing in personal stories and being able to, you were free to talk about your identity and how you relate to that. So, for example, even if, so like 1 week I found the material a little bit hard, but then I thought, how do I relate to this? How can I bring what I know into it? And that's what, I don't know about you, but that's what made it easier to talk about.
Yeah. It made the module a bit more personal and it made you engage with it a bit more. So when you're in seminars, you're really thinking about how it affects you and your own opinions as well.
I remember in the first few weeks we talked about the Windrush generation and the history behind the Windrush, and it kind of made me quite inquisitive as to what my history is in relation to immigration, and by saying that I specifically mean my parents. So I started being quite curious and asking them questions and kind of like trying to build a better idea of my relationship with immigration, so that I could better answer some of the journal entry questions that were posed.
You really get to grips with what you're actually being given to learn.
I feel like if anything I had a deeper understanding of it through the journal.
I like the fact that these kind of things that I've kind of taken from so many different places was able to be branded and explored in the journal entry.
The learning journal is meant to be like reflective, and it's your own kind of like personal understanding of the material. So having that element that you can really, you know, freely talk about, I like this, but I didn't really like this, or I understood this, or I realised through reading this how, you know, it connects to me or connects to different like areas of like the world or different social issues.
I think just having that ability to draw upon whatever you like from your life and being able to talk about that and not just academic things in the journal, I think that was really helpful.
When you consider some of the more traditional assessment methods and how they kind of program you to write a certain way, to tick boxes and to develop a writing stance that's quite specific, it's just really quite liberating.
We could even like film ourselves and submit that as an entry, record ourselves.
Slowly, we draw near to her. My heart is pounding. The mother and the abandoned child are being reconnected. Her tide pulls us into the industrial city, and we steam up the Thames into the Empire Locks into the dock. Them people, them English people are standing on the docks waiting like a parade. We expect them to cheer, to rejoice.
Because of the way that the journal works, it sort of allows you to pick up on something that you're interested in, go away, read up about it, and it kind of allows you to just sort of pursue your interests as opposed to doing things just for the sake of ticking a box. I think that's the biggest takeaway thing for me.
I was really proud of all of the work that I've done across all boards of my experience with the Learning Journal, particularly because it was just mine and it showed a lot of me and things that I wouldn't normally be able to express as an English student. I was the creativity, the kind of the freedom in writing how I want to write and drawing from places that I wouldn't normally draw from. It was really, really exciting.
Well, I think the first thing is like don't worry, you're not the only one that's, you know, doing this. Like, it's been going on for years, so don't feel like I'm the only one that doesn't
Yeah.
understand. Like, we've all been there, we've all gone through it, because it's very different to the normal assessment style.
I would definitely say to myself, with full force, go with confidence. Everything that you write is important to mark your personal development. So there's not really anything that you could really do wrong.
Don't hold back. I feel like the first few ones I did were very like I was trying to meet a standard and like hit a certain level, but that in itself stopped me from sort of being creative with it and using other methods, using different structures and putting my own personal voice in it.
I'd say don't stress about it because you're getting marked on it being personal to you. Like, you shouldn't be worried because it's your personal approach. There's no set rules for it apart from spelling and grammar and stuff like that.
It's an opportunity for you to really like develop your critical voice, like in multiple ways. Like, you don't just have to write it. You can be a bit more creative.
You have that flexibility about what you can do with it. So I think just have fun with it, engage with it in whatever way you feel best.
You don't have to write it straight away, but I would say write it as early as possible, so it's really fresh in your mind, because that's what they want. They want your like initial response, so they can see how you've grown throughout the entire module.
And also remember that only a few of them are going to be submitted for actual assessment. You'll get a feedback session halfway through the course. You will get better at it. So there's nothing really to worry about, honestly.
Something that I did a couple of times was like I recorded myself like when I got home, and my own reflections, like just personally just talking about myself in this world, and my response to the text. So at least then you have your initial response, because that's, if you leave it later, the days are going to go by and then you're like, oh, but what happened? What did that person say? How did I really feel?
I got a lot out of it personally, and I actually, like on a personal level, aside from academically, like I learned a lot about even myself.
Definitely.
Weirdly enough,
Definitely don't be pressured to be a certain way or to do anything crazy. It's very much what you make of it and your own development. So as long as you put yourself forward in the best way possible, where you kind of capture yourself and how you have kind of grown as a person with relation to your module, I don't think you could go wrong.
There's so many things that I would love, like so many opportunities that I wish I could have taken to be more creative with writing, because I didn't do creative writing, but I wish that I did. And this is an opportunity where I could have done that, but I didn't. So I think just have more fun with it. Take advantage of the fact that you can literally do whatever you like with the journal, so long as you're responding to that week's material in some way, some form. So just have more fun with it.